able to take care of themselves, right? And so government, it's like an extension of the poor relief program, almost like an extension of the poor relief, right? And I want to be very clear. I don't want the comrades to take up this argument and run and say that's what the government says. They never said it. It is I who said it, right? And it's
Oh,
like an extension of poor
wait,
relief
and point of
program.
wait, Joshua,
Yeah.
one more thing. These persons have to be registered with the Food for the Poor in order to occupy this house.
All
So you
right.
can't just pick up somebody randomly. So you have to be registered with the Food for the Poor.
Right. So it strengthens the point that I'm making, like that it's like an extension to the poor relief. It's relief for the poor, and housing is just one part of it, right? They get clothes, they get this, they get that, and so they're placed there, and it's like a boarding facility for them. It's not your house, but you get the benefit of all that comes with the house. So you live there for as long as you can, right? And then when you pass, your family or your neighbors recognize that, okay, it's not your house, so we can't go over there and capture it because I love my house, right? So as I said, it is similar to the government housing program in the United States. Very, very similar. All right. So I just want us to be clear on that.
But me think the bit of blood that come in from this though. I don't think the people are having the concerns that the People's National Party are claiming the people are having. Let me tell you why. I think the People's National Party is more concerned about the reality that Jamaicans are seeing things different from what the PMP is saying. In other words, so the PMP is saying that the government and Dan Johannes as an individual has not done nothing for Jamaica. But when the reality hits, and hits so vivid, it is now undeniable, and therefore the PMP have become uncomfortable because now people are realizing that, look, we're not going to be fooled by what we hear, by denying what we are seeing. What we're seeing are the lives of Jamaicans, ordinary Jamaicans who find themselves in some destitute situation to whatever factors they contribute to it. Being able to be awarded the privilege of somewhere to be called a home. And therefore, the reception where such initiative will get island-wide to the point where even comrades who are not so biased admit that this is a wonderful thing being done by the government and the Prime Minister. Those type of sentiments are what makes the PMP top brass uncomfortable, because it is showing up that all these years the PMP would have talked more about doing for Jamaica, but the JLP on the other hand would have said less but do more. And because the actions speak louder than words, it is becoming a problem to the PMP, especially in a political year where they must seek to get all political mileage possible.
All right. So that is part of it, but that's the optimistic view that you just presented. Idiosyncratic. Let me tell you why I said it's the optimistic view. Your presentation has always been distorted.
No, so your background, my God, your background very, very low than how you talk. God no, I'm more here, you know.
Oh, sorry. I'm saying that is the optimistic view that you just presented, right? Because they have always been distortionary in their presentation. Their desire is not to present truth. Their intention is not to present truth or to demonstrate a genuine care for the poor, but rather to make any JLP government look bad. It doesn't matter what is presented. The 1.5, they had an issue with it, saying it couldn't work. It worked. The reduction in GCT, they said it couldn't work. It worked. Free education, they said it couldn't work. It worked. Tuition-free healthcare, not tuition-free, free healthcare, they said it couldn't work. It worked. Right? So, it is just how they operate. They're anti-Jamaica in their rhetoric, in their sentiments, and they have no intention of this country moving forward. It doesn't matter what is presented. When we were supposed to build the gullies for Jamaica, they laughed at the then government under Bustamante and called them gully government. That's what they called them, because they wanted to make a mockery of the system. The same gully has helped to save Kingston from flooding over and over and over again, right? The NIS that we mentioned earlier, when it was being implemented, the same NIS that gives grants to persons if their family member pass away and they're unable to bury them, give burial grants, and also give a little bit of pension. The same NIS offers that. The PNP, when it was being implemented, call it sin, right? They have
and claim he said the first people in Portland them can't pass because the road flood out, them can't pass or whatever. So I turned to him and I said to him, I send him a message and say, why is it you keep sending me these things and saying it's PNP purpose and saying it's JLP cause it. So I'm saying, by the way, why you not talk to me, tell me about the what's going on in the municipality? He's not gonna tell me, say, it's the labor right and part. I'm like, really?
all right. So if that's the case, the board houses that are still, I heard the gentleman earlier. You remember his name?
Mm-hmm.
That was saying that PNP took Jamaican citizens out of Auckland about. That's not true. My father was a builder. One of the many things that he did deep sea fishing, he did building, right? There are rumors of other things that he did, but I have no proof, so I can't definitively say those things. I know he made ice cream on Sunday night and ride around on the back of a bicycle and jerk pork on Friday night and sell too, right? And he raised animals, right? But my father was a builder. And there were no Auckland Darbos in the 70s, right? And I'm old enough to remember clearly. And it never started in the 70s. Well, there were Auckland Darbos, but it never started in the 70s. The Auckland Darb houses started to be removed from mid to late 50s, right? But because right after we got slavery was ended, people started having a sense of hope. And so they started doing things for themselves. Auckland Darbos really started under the slave masters, because remember, the slaves never had a lot of places to sleep. And it was the order of the day. So nothing was really wrong per se. This is what they knew. And even in Africa now, certain places in Africa, certain places on certain of the islands, the Solomon Islands and those places, they still have some of these houses, right? it depends on where you are. If you go to the North Pole, they still have the Eskimo houses, not in totality, but some of them, right? What is lamentable is that the PNP controlled Westmoreland for 40 odd years, unbroken. And in 2024, we still have to be fixing roads that the PNP neglected when they had an unbroken tenureship down there. It's the only place in Jamaica where you can drive, and it's not as bad as it was before, and see houses, board houses on stilts. Board houses still, right? The parish that the PNP basically owned for 40 odd years and never lost an election until 2016, right? 2020, right? And now all of a sudden they want to hold this government ransom, in 9 years for something that they neglected for 40 odd years. Right? So PNP must learn to be truthful. Right? Now you spoke about,
because what he had said, is laborers know exactly how to deny what they have done and their corruption and mismanagement. How is it what is going on in the municipality have to do?
You're breaking up. Go back to where you were
The
before.
rights have anything to do with it, and
Current
they are
location is
in
bad.
control of the.
Your current location is bad. Go back to where you were before.
No, it's the thing, Anisha and Joshua, what people feel understanding. The PMP can loudly come out and say what them say in relation to the scandals are the facts that are literally out there against them. Why? The fact that they are not being pressured by the media houses, which are their operatives and supporters in disguise and some openly. That's why they know that they got the backing of the media houses. So therefore, they don't have to worry about the heavy critiques being coming at them from the media or the media houses generally. So therefore, I guess they can go out there with all authority, like say they are squeaky clean, and I go tell the public say the JLP they're on a smear campaign. What kind of, and then the thing is, Joshua, if you listen to how she defined the smear campaign of the JLP, and you compare what they would have done to Andrew Holness based on information that does not support or supports their allegations versus the obvious that we're seeing now that is coming out from the KSA or the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation with them control, and also the Lawrence Rowe thing. Them think they hard evidence, and yet them also people must see them things there, overlook it, and think the JLP is on a smear campaign or something like that. Then the JLP supporters and people who are neutral must be saying to themselves, oh, this sounds like it is defining more like what the PNP themselves were doing to Andrew Holness, because the evidence does substantiate what the comrades them must say, right? But yet them insist to carry out allegation upon the Prime Minister even when evidence does not support it. But here we are now versus them with evidence. We can incriminate them. Them are going to say the JP is on a smear campaign. It is showing that the People's National Party take the people of Jamaica for a damn set of fools. That's why them can feel so proud in doing what them are do and say what them are say. Because they are always of the view say Jamaica PNP country. That means that you can piss in them head and tell them say rain or fall.
Yeah, Joshua. So what the person was basically saying is that the labor rights don't like to accept the truth, and they don't know how to well, let me tell you exactly what I'm saying. Hold on.
While you say that, let me read something on William Naval High School for you. It says,
Yeah, they don't like to take blame for the gravity of their corruption and mismanagement. So I am saying, how is it that the Labour Party are going to take blame for something with them not do? the PNP, they are the ones in charge of the most of the in charge of the KSAMC municipality, right? The St. Catherine municipality and the Westmoreland. So why we must take blame for the monies that was allocated mismanaged under their leadership, or why we have to take the blame for it?
It is known as revisionist history. That is what it's known as. Yeah, I noticed that you have on an alumni cap. So it therefore means that you understand the term of reference quite easily. Right? And so for those who may not readily grasp what I just said, revisionist history is history that people give their spin on, which is not necessarily the truth. Right? So in other words, they revise it or rewrite it. Let me read something on the William Nib High School for you. It says William Nib High School is the only traditional co-ed high school in the parish. Co-ed mean boy and girl. Parish of Trelawney was founded in 1961. So it's under the JLP government that it became government school. But listen to this, even though history shows that it existed since the 1800s as an all-girls institution, it is located right outside of Falmouth in the community of Martha Bray on Carb Road on a beautiful and lush green campus. It has excelled academically. Let me skip down. Right. Right. So basically, that's what it's saying. So a transition there. There's nothing about any corruption. One other thing I like to challenge the comrade with is when they come to provide the documentation. Don't just tell me, look there, but provide the documentation. And I'm not talking about your version or your understanding of the documentation, because I went on one of their lives 2 days ago, and I was listening to a tape that they purported that it was proof of the indigent program and the social housing program being one and the same. When you listen, it was different from what was being pushed on the live, right? And when I tried to explain myself, the one caution who feel that him better than the world itself, better than sin, start getting loud and boisterous, right? In fairness to Mr. Cole, who normally try and drown out people, was not doing that day, in fairness to him. He was treating the thing respectfully, and I have to give him credit for that day, right? And another gentleman who seemed to have been one of the senior person on the live was saying, allow them to speak. Normally PNP don't behave that way, but I want to just pause for a minute and give them credit. Caution now shows that these parents tried to grow him up right, but he strayed from the path, right? So, he embarrassed himself and his good old daddy who tried to coach him, right? And his mother, if he knows her, who tries to lead him in the right way. Right. So, Fog Life,
Because
I don't see.
even
Bless up.
the thing there that will be built in St. Thomas. The right name again?
The urban
Remind me,
center.
please. The urban
urban
center, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same PNP, because I don't think the urban center will make any sense because the parish will be overdeveloped. No.
What does he mean by
Come the parish
overdeveloped?
will
You mean a parish that was underdeveloped for many years to the extent that nobody wanted to live there is suddenly overdeveloped by one building?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
But
if you
then
realize that it's
Joshua,
not making sense.
well, Joshua, you know what he made the comparison with? The Trelawney Stadium where they're in a nowhere, where run down and go and all kind of things.
Carry a little come.
So me trying to remember, say, how can you compare an urban center that will provide jobs for thousands of persons to Trelawney Stadium where never make no sense? How can you do that? Because that don't make no sense. That's one.
I realize I was talking to myself. That's PNP for you. If you look for nonsense in the dictionary, and you look for an image to identify, or look for the synonym for nonsense, you'll find a 3-letter word. Right? PNP is the synonym for nonsense.
Because me wonder how overdeveloped the community that no make no sense. Because that parish was deemed as the forgotten parish. Now the parish of area and this is developing. Obviously, it's going to provide jobs for dozens of persons. So hence, person not have to travel from outer St. Thomas to come in a town to look for job. No. There will be job in St. Thomas.
So the buses that has been sent out there, the new bus route, that's overdevelopment too?
You know, me feel the government can do with the Chilani multi-purpose stadium, a cricket stadium actually. Is it Canada? I feel like the government can lease it to Canada Cricket Association and so forth and make it be one of the away home ground, because you can't just stay like that and just waste and provide them that, you know what I mean? Because in the day we see where Canada cricket side made up of mostly Jamaican heritage men. You know what I mean? So that just fit in then if it does make because I'll be a Canada man, I'll be a Jamaican man, be a man with Jamaican heritage upon the Canadian cricket side and even the American one. So right now the government if you look somebody one of them sporting countries there where probably would have liked to utilize it as one of them local grow and just lease it to them and stop on a price and so on, you know? Yeah, man.
Idiot, that was a total waste of government money. Simple put.
I support you, Anisha, because remember, I think it was 1995 that Cricket World Cup came here, if I'm not mistaken. That's 20 years ago.
2007 Cricket World Cup it was.
All right, so that's how many years ago? 18
when
years?
Pakistan coach Bob Wilmer did dead now a hotel up there too. I must be told now, so.
So that's 18 years ago, right? Right?
Yeah, man.
Right. So 18 years, just imagine a building being locked up for 18 years and imagine the level of decay, and the structural compromise that happens because it's unused. So whilst the idea that you have is a novel idea, it wouldn't be able to do it. And remember that government of the day was warned not to do it. Remember, he was warned. He was told not to.
I get an important
because
because
at the time was a white.
answer get an important because answer.
Right, so they have no moral fortitude.
Manners, my neighbor brothers and sisters. You know me have to go jump out one at a time.
Alright.
Yeah,
Understand.
go take care of something. No, we're not hour, man. So I'll take care of something real quick, like an hour. We just get a phone call for this, so let me just take care of it. You understand what I say?
Alright, no
No,
problem.
man, no disrespect. Thank
No
you.
man, that's alright. Anisha,
Yeah.
I don't know you. Send me a follow, no?
I did that already, Joshua. I think I follow you already.
You know? You know?
That's what I would have done.
I understand. I understand your point as well. But the only reason why I say this, you see, in Jamaica, silence give that people draw the perception that when you're silent about something, that you're guilty. You understand?
True.
So just come out, set the record straight, and leave it there. That's what I would do.
Well, that is true. And that can be done also. Again, will they heed this call? That's another thing.